Hey, thanks for joining us here at the Star Wars Unlimited Market Watch as we check out the top 10 hottest Star Wars Unlimited cards of the week. As you may know, the first set officially launched this past Friday on March 8th, 2024, and the market has been incredibly active for this set. A lot of cards are really still trying to find their price point. This is the first episode of the Star Wars Unlimited Market Watch, and today we're going to talk about the cards that are moving up the most, either by raw dollar amount or by percentage. So we'll look at some examples of both today, but the cards are going to be listed by percentage, or at least which ones have increased the most percentage-wise. I also want to add a disclaimer that we're not going to talk about the showcase leader cards for now, at least. These cards are incredibly hard to crack in packs, and I think that it's going to be a while before they start to stabilize and find their true price point. But without any further introduction, let's just get into the cards. So starting off this week, we have Hyperspace Boba Fett Disintegrator. So this card is up to $79 right now. Back around Friday or Saturday, we had some sales starting at $55 for the Hyperspace variant of this card. Over the weekend, the card has climbed up to around the $79-$99 range. So this is a combination of a card being incredibly playable, showing up in a lot of the villainry decks. A lot of the Boba Fett leader decks have Boba Fett, the Disintegrator, in the list, 3 copies of it. So it's a legendary card that's already going to be competing with collectors who want the hyperspace variant for their collection, and then the people that are actually going to be playing it are going to need 3 copies of it as well. So the people playing it might not necessarily need the 3 copies of the hyperspace variant, but we all know we like to bling out our decks and stuff like that, right? So, if you can have the 3 hyperspace variants, then a lot of people are going to want that too. So it's going to be people competing collectibles and then also people playing it. One interesting thing about this card is I don't know if it's actually found its true price point yet, because the latest sales at the time of recording were $79.99, but that price point looks like they've dried up sales at that point. All the other listings I saw were for $89.99. So it's still about $10 more for the next set of listings at this, with the $79.99 being sold out. So still about $10 higher right now listed on TCG Player than the previous or the last sale was even at. Moving on, we have the normal border Darth Vader. So again, a card that's collectible. Darth Vader is a highly sought after character, just like Boba Fett, but he's also arguably one of the best cards in the entire set right now. His win play ability is insane if you've ever seen that go off. It can swing a game, it can turn a game on the spot. So very powerful card. It's a legendary card, so again, it's going to be pretty rare. But we do see a 70% increase in price from the time of Friday, Saturday, when he was sitting around $37.97. There were plenty of sales at that price point. Up to now, the latest sale at the time of recording was $64.75. So he's jumped about $26 over the weekend into the early part of the first week. And again, it's an incredibly iconic character with an incredibly powerful card that's at the legendary rarity. Moving on to the next card at the next highest percentage, we've got the hyperspace variant of Darth Vader commanding the First Legion. So again, we've got people that want to bling out their decks and want to play with 3 copies of this, fighting with the people that want to collect it for their collection. So again, highly sought after card. Again, it's a legendary rarity, and this one is still trying to find its price point. It was starting off Friday and Saturday. You could pick this up for around $65.77. We had some initial sales, and now it's up to $114.99 for the latest sale at the time of recording. The good news about this one maybe is that the next sales after this $114.99, or the listings that are active right now on TCG Player, are around the $110.99. So maybe it's starting to trend down a little bit and find its true price point. But $114.99 puts this at one of the most expensive hyperspace hyperspace variants that's non-foil in the set. I believe it's the most expensive by quite a margin at this point. But again, it's had a 74% price increase from the Friday, Saturday time of release to the time of recording, Tuesday afternoon of the next week. So a huge price increase there, and it was already pretty pricey, sitting around that $65 when it was when the set came out on Friday and Saturday. So unbelievable, and we'll have to keep an eye on this one to see where it goes, because who knows at this point. The next card on our list, higher percentage than our Darth Vader Hyperspace, but again, starting off at quite a lower percentage, or a lower raw number, right? So For a Cause I Believe In has been showing up in quite a few of the red Sabine aggro decks, it looks like initially. So this might have been a card where people were sleeping on at the beginning, but it was starting off on Friday, Saturday around the $4.99 mark. Now it's up to $11.99, the last sale at the time of recording, or the last few sales were around this number. So 140% price increase over the weekend. And this is for the hyperspace variant, so very good card is what it's looking like, and it looks like it was undervalued at the time of release. So if you picked it up at the $4.99 because you thought it was going to be good, then you are crushing it right now, with it being $12 now currently. So a great card. It's a rare quality card. And it just looks like it's going to be kind of a build around card in decks like this. Same story on this one as the last card. So K2SO, initially around the Friday, Saturday, for the hyperspace variant at least, was starting around the $6 mark, and it has jumped up over the weekend into $17 territory. So huge increase in percentage-wise, 182% increase of a jump for this card. And again, we're finding out it's very playable. It's showing up in a lot of lists. It's showing up in a lot of decks. Aggro is a very popular archetype at the beginning of the season, or the meta, however you want to think about it. Initially, aggro decks seem to do very well until the mid-range and the control list find out how to play against them. But yeah, K2SO seems like it was undervalued at the time of release, and now if you're picking it up now, you're a little late to the game. Hopefully you crack some of these and you picked it up earlier on, or crack some, right, and got it for cheaper. Next up, we've got Boba Fett Disintegrator in the normal border. So just like Darth Vader, huge price increase over the weekend. It's a very iconic character, a very collectible character, and then also another legendary rarity. So if you were able to pick this up on Friday, Saturday, it was around $19.99 on TCG Player. I'm kicking myself for not picking up some copies of it, and I'm wondering if anybody else is doing the same, because right now at the time of recording, the last sale was $62.99 for this card. So even at the normal border variant, huge price increase and a huge percentage increase. So not only is it going up in raw dollars by quite a bit, it's a huge percent too, which makes this thing incredibly expensive right now. I don't know why it was initially so undervalued. Seems like a very powerful card with a very powerful on attack effect, and it turns out that's very true. So it's a very good card, and it is still going up. One of the good news about this card though is that the $62.99, the last few sales, the listings after that, or the newest, freshest listings, are around $58. So maybe it's trending down a little bit to find its true price point. We'll have to, again, just keep an eye on this one like some of the other cards, just to see where it starts to end up. But right now, it looks like it's going to trend down a little bit, at least, in the time being. Next one on our list today is the normal border K2SO. So again, another card, just like when we're talking about the hyperspace variant, this card looks like it was undervalued or underplayed or under-included in lists at the beginning, whereas now, over the weekend, it's showing up in a lot more aggro lists, or more people are picking it up to build these Sabine aggro lists. And again, jumping from around the $3.98 mark to $12.99. So huge percentage increase, even if it's not really breaking the bank too bad for a $13 rare. So a little bit more than I'd like to spend on a normal border rare, but it's no Boba Fett and no Darth Vader. But it has increased quite a bit, and we'll see where it starts to trend. The current listings at the time of recording are still around the $13 mark, so it might be leveling off. We'll just have to wait and see on this one. Would you look at that? Another aggro card has shown up. So red 3, just like K2SO and For a Cause I Believe In, started off on the Friday, Saturday around $4.40. So a little bit lower going into the weekend, but more people have been picking it up and buying it. So it's up to around $14.98 right now. So $10 increase, 240% increase in the price of this card. The good news, again, just like with the last K2SO that we talked about, is it does look to be holding around this price for the next few listings at that $14.98 price point. So hopefully this one's starting to level off again. $15 for a rare, more than I'm wanting to see for some of these cards, but the aggro list does seem to be very popular, and it's gonna be a popular archetype in the early meta game, typically of a lot of TCGs. All right, so next on the list, we finally got away from the aggro colors. We've got a cunning, and actually a double cunning aspect card. So this looks like it has been showing up in some of the double cunning decks, and then even in some of the non-double aspected, double cunning aspected decks. It seems like this card is still powerful even when you cast it, including the aspect tag. So even casting this for 6, a lot of people are thinking it's still worth it and still a powerful effect. So this card seems like it was undervalued going into the weekend. There were some hyperspace variants on TCG being sold around the $5 mark, which is already blowing my mind because it's a hyperspace legendary rare. So a super hard card to find. There's some common hyperspaces that were sold for more than this at the get-go. So I don't know what was going on with this card. It's been trending up ever since Friday and Saturday. It's landed right now around the 1844 mark, 268% increase. I think again with this one though that it was just way undervalued or way lower than it should have been at release. So I don't know why it has climbed up that much. I don't know why it started so low. This one seems really good, and I would be surprised if this one doesn't go higher. The listings for this one again indicate that it could be trending up a little bit because the latest sale at 1844, but the next listings after that are jumping up to the $20.98, $21 range. So still a $2.50 increase, even just from the previous sales. I think this one's going to keep going up, at least in the short term. It seems really powerful. It seems really good, and it's a hyperspace. So if you do the math on that one, I don't know. I'm going to try to pick up a copy of this before it climbs higher, but we'll see. I need to get my LGS to get some of these in stock so I can actually pick them up and put them in some decks. I like the card a lot. The last card on our list, again, another aggro build-around card for a cause I believe in, Normal Border. So this one is the top card of the week only because it shot up by the greatest percentage, right? So we had the Darth Vader hyperspace going from $65 up to $114, which is a huge dollar amount increase. But it already started so high that it just didn't climb as high percentage-wise. This card started really low around the $2.50 mark. So there were some initial sales on TCG Player on Friday and Saturday for $2.38. And now it has since climbed up to the $9.39 mark for the last few sales. So the next sales that are in line, or the next listings, do look to be maintaining the same around the $9.39 mark, and I would never expect it to climb as high as the hyperspace variant, which is sitting at $12 right now. So hopefully that one's starting to level off too, because it seems like a lot of people are picking it up for that aggro deck. But $9.39 or $12, I would just pick up the hyperspace if it was me for that price difference. It's not like the hyperspace Vader versus the hyperspace or versus the regular Vader. So huge percentage increase for this card though. Again, undervalued going into the weekend, or more people just decided or realized how good it was, and it's going in a lot more decks. So huge percent increase, almost 300% increase, and that makes it the top card for the week when we look at percentage. So That brings us to the end of the video. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, feel free to like, subscribe, or both. That would be awesome. I'm going to keep watching the market because it is absolutely insane right now. And hopefully we can get some more videos up as the weeks move on and things start to level out, and we'll see, you know, smaller increases, but we'll keep everything in mind and see how everything's moving and try to report on it as best we can. But what I would like you guys to do is tell me, did I miss any cards that have moved up more, either percentage or in dollar amount, that you noticed? Also, did you guys pull any sweet cards? And if you did, what are you going to do? Are you keeping them right now? Are you trying to sell them? You think the market's too high? You think it's going to come down? You think the market's going to keep going up for some of these? I'd love to hear what you guys think, because again, I'm a player just like you guys, and I'm just trying to report the data the way I see it, but I am by no means an expert on any of this. I just think it's fun to track these prices and see how these cards are moving, especially with how fresh and how new this trading card game is. I love the game. I hope it stays healthy. I love to watch the prices go up and down. I think it's super cool. So I hope you guys do too. I hope you enjoyed the content, but let me know what you think. See ya.